Okay, we're live on YouTube. We will start at 8 o'clock. Okay, so I can see people signing in today. Chloe, one. Is that you, Chloe? Okay. Michaela Schutt. Ellie Nicholson. Alexander Perez. And Zach Winters. All right, we'll start in about a minute. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and sign in. Gerardo?
Yeah.
Is that you? All right, it's 8 o'clock. We're going to be in Chapter 3, Section 3, Part A. So this is more about lines, equations of lines. We've seen the standard form. So equations of lines in the variables x and y have the following forms. The standard form, ax plus by equals c. So a, b, and c are just real numbers, and a and b cannot both be 0 at the same time. If you solve the standard form for y, you can write it in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope-intercept form because m, the coefficient of x, is the slope. So m is the slope. And the term intercept comes from the fact that this number b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0b. So hence the term slope-intercept form. Here's another form that we haven't talked about yet, but this is a very useful form for a straight line. The point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, so the word slope is obvious because m is the slope. And the term point refers to the fact that the ordered pair, or the point with the ordered pair x1, y1, that is a point on the line. So this is a point on the line. Okay, so the way that you would use this point slope form, if you know what the slope of a line is, and if you know the ordered pair of one point on the line, then you can find the equation by using this formula. We'll see how that works in some examples. Okay, let's read this sentence first. The point slope form is often used when the slope of a line is known, as well as the ordered pair of a point that is on that line. So that's just repeating what I said earlier. Okay, let's find equations of the lines described below. So on number one, a line with slope -1/4 passes through the point -8, -2. So we can find the point slope form of this line. So one thing to watch out for, make sure that you don't mix up the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate. And the point slope form on the left-hand side, y minus y1. So for this particular example, the y1 is -2. So we'll start by writing y minus the number -2. And then on the right-hand side, we have the slope. That's given to be -1/4. So we write -1/4. And then in parentheses, we write x minus -8. Okay, that's a good start, but we want to simplify it a little bit. 1 minus -2 is y plus 2. And then -1/4, we'll simplify what's inside the parentheses first. So we have -1/4, and then multiplied by the quantity x plus 8. Depending upon the directions, determines what you do next. If all you're supposed to do is find an equation for the line, then this is an equation for the line. This would be a satisfactory answer. But at times you'll see instructions that say write the equation in slope-intercept form. So if that's the case, you have to do a little bit more arithmetic to put it into the form y equals mx plus b. So we might as well go ahead and do it. But as always, read the directions carefully and just do what the directions say. So if you've been working in Newton, most everyone has been working in Newton, you might have discovered that when the problem asks for a specific answer, then that's what they mean. If you write an answer that is correct but not in the form requested, it will say something like it's not in simplified form or something. Okay, so if we want to write this in slope-intercept form, first we distribute multiplication by -1/4 on the right-hand side. So we'll leave the left-hand side the same momentarily. And then -1/4 times x is -1/4 x. And then we're going to add -1/4 times 8. -1/4 times 8 is -2. And adding -2 is equivalent to subtracting 2. And then subtract 2 from both sides, so the slope-intercept form is y equals -1/4 x minus 4. Okay, the next problem, a line passes through the points -3, 2, and 2, -6. So let's find an equation for that line that passes through those 2 points whose ordered pairs are given. So any ideas? How should we start? Okay, yeah, we can think about how we would use the point slope form. Is that what you mean? Or are you talking about something else?
I think I'm still a little confused with the slope form because I thought there was another way to figure it out because of y2 minus y1 over x2.
Yeah, we need to know the slope, and we have 2 points, so we can find the slope using the slope formula. Yeah, we could do that to start with. In fact, that's probably what we want to do at the very first. Since we're given the ordered pairs of 2 points on a line, and we want to find the equation, we do need to know the slope. So the slope formula, I'll rewrite the slope formula here. The slope of a line, if you're given 2 points, you can write in the numerator y2 minus y1, and in the denominator x2 minus x1. And it doesn't matter which point you label as x1, y1, and so on. So we'll just do what makes the arithmetic easiest. So in the numerator, I'm going to write 2 minus -6, 2 minus -6. And so in the denominator, I have to write -3 minus 2. And in the numerator, 2 minus -6 is 2 plus 6. In the denominator, -3 minus 2 is -5. And so the slope is -8/5. Okay, then we can pick either of the 2 ordered pairs and use the slope -8/5 and write the point slope form. It doesn't matter which of the 2 points you pick. So I'll pick the left point, -3, 2. So that means my x1 is -3 and my y1 is 2. So the point slope form, y minus y1, in this case, it's y minus 2. And then that's equal to the slope -8/5 times x minus -3. Okay, so always be careful with the minuses and negatives. So we should at least simplify the x minus -3 part. So y minus 2 equals -8/5 times the quantity x plus 3. Okay, depending on the directions determines how far we go. So if the directions do not specify what form the line should be in, then this is a perfectly fine answer. If you're in doubt about using, whether you should use one ordered pair or the other, you can prove it to yourself that you get the same line if you start out with the point slope form in both cases, and then write each of those in slope intercept form. They will be identical when they're in the slope-intercept form. They'll look different in the point-slope form because you're using two different points. But if they're on the same line, if you keep going and write it in slope-intercept form, they will be identical at that point. So that's something that you should do. So I'll leave that for you to do on your own. Okay, and number 3, the graph of the line. So I'm going to draw a graph, and then from the graph, find an equation for the line. So hopefully you'll be able to see the points that I'm going to pick. So this point is -2, 1. And this point is 3, -2. And then a straight line through those 2 points. So find an equation for that line. You can find the slope by going from one point to the other using rise over run. So let's see, I'm going downhill from left to right, so I'm expecting the slope to be negative. So from this point to that one, I have a rise of -1, 2, 3. So the slope has a rise of -3 and a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So using the graph, I find that the slope is -3/5. You can verify that I did that correctly by using the slope formula and the 2 points whose ordered pairs are given. So yeah, that works out. I'll just below here, I'll just use the slope formula and the ordered pairs -2, 1 and 3, -2. So in the numerator, I can write -2 minus 1. That's my y2 minus y1 in the numerator. And then 3 minus -2. And sure enough, when we do the arithmetic, we get -3/5. Depending on how accurate your graph is, so I wouldn't trust my graph to find the y-intercept. I don't believe that the y-intercept has or is the ordered pair 0, 0. I don't believe my graph. So on Newton, though, you can trust those graphs. Those are computer generated, so they should be accurate. So if you want to take a chance, you could say, yeah, okay, the y-intercept is 0, 0, so the value of b is 0. Okay, but I don't believe it. So if the slope is -3/5, I can pick one or the other of the points and then write the point slope form. Okay, so I'll pick the ordered pair 3, -2. So that means my x1 is 3 and my y1 is -2. So y minus y1 is y minus -2 equals the slope -3/5 times the quantity x minus 3. And let's go ahead and put this one in slope-intercept form. So we're going to solve for y after we do some arithmetic. Y minus negative 2 is y plus 2. And then that's equal to negative 3/5 x. And then plus 9/5, because negative 3/5 times negative 3 is positive 9/5. And then we'll subtract 2 from both sides. And what do I get when I subtract 2 from 9/5? Well, we can write it out in detail. I have plus 9/5. And then I'm going to subtract 2, but since I'm subtracting 2 from the fraction 9/5, I need a common denominator. So you can think of minus 2 as minus 10/5, right? Okay, so our final step, I'll write it up here in green. The slope-intercept form is y equals negative 3/5 x minus 1/5. 9/5 minus 10/5 is negative 1/5. Negative 1/5 is pretty close to 0, but it's not 0. So it's a good thing we didn't trust my graph. Okay, the next problem, number 4, find the equation of the horizontal line that passes through the point 4, negative 1. Well, there's one way to go about it. You can remember that in the xy plane, equations of horizontal lines always have the same form. We talked about that before, a few days ago. So does anyone know what the equation for the horizontal line is that passes through this point, 4, negative 1? Okay, if you don't remember, well, you can use a graph to help you. So let's plot the point 4, negative 1. Okay, so there's the point 4, negative 1. And then a horizontal line. Well, with a horizontal line, there's something that every point on that line has in common with every other point on that horizontal line. So what is it? If I pick 2 different points on this horizontal line, the 2 points have something in common. Okay, let's pick another point on that horizontal line besides 4, negative 1 and find the ordered pair for it. So which point do you want? We have infinitely many to choose from. We just want to pick one. Which one?
3, negative 2.
2.
3, negative 2.
It has to be on the horizontal line.
So 3, negative 1.
Yeah, 3, negative 1. That's another point on the line. So when you look at those two points, one is 3, -1, the other is 4, -1. What do they have in common?
y equals
The y coordinate is -1. So that means the equation for that horizontal line is y equals -1. So I'll label what we did. If you don't know the context, when you see y equals -1, you're not sure if it's referring to just one y value or is it referring to a line? So in this context, this is the line y equals -1. So this is the equation, of the horizontal line on which every point has the same y coordinate of -1. It's the equation of the horizontal line on which every point has -1 for its y coordinate. So it seems to make sense that we say y equals -1 to represent that line if every point on that line has a y coordinate of -1. Okay, the next problem, number 5, find the equation of the vertical line that passes through the same point, 4, -1. What's the equation for the vertical line that passes through 4, -1?
x equals 4.
X equals 4. Yeah, so if we graph the vertical line that passes through 4, -1, so the vertical line and if you can't remember, if you remember, well, let's see, vertical lines, I know it's either x equals something or y equals something. Well, you can figure it out if you just pick another point on the line. So I'll pick the point 4, 2. And then you can observe, oh, each of those 2 points has the same x coordinate of 4. So the equation for that vertical line is x equals 4. Okay. So this is the equation of the vertical line. Every point has the same x coordinate of 4. Or every point has x equals 4 as its x coordinate. Okay, I got an answer online for that one. And it's correct. Okay, the next page These are a little bit more involved, just a little bit. Let's find equations of the lines described below. So on this one, number 1, find an equation for a line that is parallel to the line y equals negative 4x plus 4, and which passes through the point 5, negative 1. And so we know a few things about straight lines in the xy plane. If we want to find an equation, we need to know the slope and also another point, or we need to know 2 points. Okay, but we have all the information we need. So here I'll just write the new line. The new line is the line whose equation we're trying to find here. So is there something that we know about the new line? The new line is parallel to this line. The given line is y equals negative 4x plus 4. So the line whose equation we're trying to find is parallel to this line. And the new line also passes through this point, 5, negative 1. So what's the slope of the new line?
Negative 4.
Yeah, negative 4. The slope of the given line is negative 4. This is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And any line that's parallel to it has the same slope. So the new line has slope m equals negative 4, and the new line has this point on it. I'll refer to it as x1, y1 equals 5, negative 1. And so we can begin, at least, by writing the point slope form. Okay, so I'll remind you, point slope form. There's a lot of repetition in this class, but repetition is a key to learning. So the point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, so we write y minus negative 1, that's my y minus y1, and then the slope is negative 4 times the quantity, x minus 5. So don't forget to put x minus x1 in parentheses. If you omit the parentheses, you'll write down something that's incorrect. Okay, and we can take it further if we want. Y minus negative 1. We should simplify this part. Y minus negative 1 is y plus 1. And if we want to get it into slope-intercept form, we'll distribute multiplication by negative 4. So we get negative 4x plus 20. And then subtract 1 from both sides. So we get y equals negative 4x plus 19. Okay, let's do one more problem, and then we'll stop to have the Zoom meeting. Okay, so take a minute to think about problem 2. We want to find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals 4x minus 5, and which passes through the point negative 4, 2. You, Ariana, is that you? Okay, the given line is y equals 4x minus 5. We want to find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to y equals 4x minus 5. So what's the slope of the new line?
Would be -1/4.
Yeah, the negative reciprocal of positive 4, think of 4 as 4 over 1. So the reciprocal of 4 over 1 is 1 over 4. And that means the negative reciprocal is -1/4. So the new line has a slope equal to -1/4. And this line that's perpendicular to the given line passes through the point -4, 2. So we have all the information we need to find an equation for that line. So let's start with the point slope form. So this time we have y minus 2. And then that's equal to the slope -1/4 times the quantity x minus -4. So we use numbers with negative coefficients or negative numbers on purpose so that if you have a tendency to drop negative signs, hopefully you'll get over that. Okay, then we simplify a little more. Y minus 2 equals -1/4 times the quantity x plus 4, because x minus -4 is x plus 4. And let's go ahead and, there's a question online. Why didn't we do the reciprocal on number 1? Well, on number 1, the new line is parallel, so two lines that are parallel have the same slope. In problem 2, the two lines are perpendicular, and perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. Okay, that's a good question to ask if you don't know why. So let's take this a little further. I'll write it up here, y minus 2, and then distribute multiplication by -1/4. So -1/4 times x, -1/4 x. -1/4 times 4 is -1. So if we add -1, that's equivalent to subtracting 1. And then if we want the slope-intercept form, we add 2 to both sides. So we get y equals -1/4 x plus 1. That's the slope-intercept form. Okay, let's go ahead and conclude the YouTube live session. If you're here in class, if you have your cell phone, you can go out in the hall and join the Zoom meeting. I'm going to go to my office and start the Zoom meeting there. Okay, but that's all for today. See you on the Zoom meeting in a few minutes.